Welcome back to Turkish series Stars, the sanctuary for viewers who know the real plot twists are whispered behind velvet ropes and buried beneath the noise of flashbulbs. Tonight we're not skimming a rumor, we're unpacking a shockwave with the power to redraw the map of Turkish show business. Our spotlight locks on two magnetic names whose combined pull could stall traffic on the Bosphorus at rush hour, Cemre and Gökberk Yildirim. This isn't a fairy tale. It's a web of private sparks, public pressure, and one sentence that hit like a gavel: this love is impossible. Before we wade into the storm, make sure you're subscribed. Hit like to help this deep dive reach the people who crave context, not clickbait. And if you want a front row seat in our discussions, tap the join button. Members power the kind of independent storytelling that refuses to blink when the lights burn too bright. In the theater of Turkish media, some rumors smolder and some swallow the stage. The developments around Cemre and Gökberk? Inferno. For weeks, whispers swelled into a chorus. Fans started reading tea leaves that seemed too precise to ignore, predicting an irresistible pull between the queen of micro-expressions and the leading man who treats momentum like oxygen. On paper, it's the reunion fantasy boards were drawn for. Two careers with entwined folklore, two faces whose on-screen chemistry once rewired the collective heartbeat. Online, it turned into a tidal wave: fan edits, nostalgia, the aching hope that fiction could stumble into reality. But just as the fantasy neared ignition, ice water met flame. Not a PR sheet. Not a cold corporate denial. The verdict came, so they say, from the quiet heart of the circle, delivered with a steadiness that made insiders hold their breath. The words were simple, surgical, and final: this love is impossible. To calculate the gravity of that phrase, we need the scene that preceded it. The spark wasn't lit on a red carpet, it flickered at a private soiree where the chandeliers read like constellations and the guest list needed no introduction. Champagne was effortless, but secrets were bolted down. In that hush between clinking glasses and polite laughter, witnesses say Cemre and Gökberk drifted away from the crowd and, for a long, suspended moment, the room lost its focus. People who have spent years orbiting these two swear this wasn't small talk between former colleagues. It was a concentrated exchange, a tunnel of attention so intense that everything beyond its edges blurred. From that night, the algorithm of gossip recalculated. Quiet suggestions hardened into detailed tales. Late messages pinging across time zones at indecent hours, confessions at 3 a.m. delivered with the bravado of someone who knows dawn will ask for receipts. There were mentions of drivers on unfamiliar streets, meetups engineered with chessboard precision. The story sharpened into something that felt dangerous precisely because it felt true. Then came the sentence that stopped the music. Why would Gökberk, a man who sprints through the walls people put up for him, invoke the blunt geometry of impossible? Those closest to the matter whisper he said it at a guarded dinner where phones were surrendered at the door and conversations lived only in the air they warmed. He wasn't angry, they insist, just heavy with the knowledge that some fires light more than they warm. He reportedly called the narrative high-octane fuel for headlines, but not supported by the architecture of real life. He described it like a gorgeous house built on sand. Here's where I hand the mic to you, Turkish series Stars family. When someone labels a relationship structurally unworkable, which part is brittle, the feeling or the frame that must hold it? Is impossible a verdict against the heart, or against the world around it? Drop your take in the comments, and members, your badge makes your words shine at the top where we pin the sharpest reads. And while you're down there, give the like button a nudge so this conversation gets to the people who need it. If the word impossible belongs anywhere in this account, it may be because of surplus, not scarcity, too much history, too many expectations. Hanging over the present is the echo of a past pairing, or perhaps the legacy of shared mythology that refuses to stay politely in the archive. Nostalgia is an intoxicant in this industry. It powers careers and traps them, sometimes in the same breath. If Cemre and Gökberk stepped into the light together, two timelines would collide, old stories with fresh breath. Would dormant embers settle into warmth, or roar back into a blaze that singes everything in the blast radius? That is the equation that keeps agents sleepless. There's also a wall with a family crest on it. Those who know Cemre's rules know her privacy is a fortress, and the garrison is both loyal and unflinching. They've watched what feverish rumor mills do to humans when they become brands. They know the price of a good name and how quickly it can be traded for spectacle. In chapters past, the tide of family counsel has shifted the entire geography of her choices. In this calculus, a union with Gökberk raises variables that don't land in her favor. It isn't disdain. Those in the rooms admire his talent and the velocity of his rise. But they also see the weather system that trails him, a calendar that chews through sleep, a passport with more stamps than pauses, a professional rhythm that lives on speed. He is the storm. Cemre seeks the harbor. The clash is simple to describe and agonizing to resolve. She longs for rhythm and shelter. He's navigating jet streams and deadlines that move like tides. Insiders say the friction between her need for steadiness and his current orbit makes for a chord progression that love alone can't tune. As the rumor engine revved, Cemre chose a move that speaks loudly. She stepped back. Not a performative silence, but a deliberate retreat. Fewer posts. Colder captions. A narrowing of the window into her personal hours. Those advising her are said to have urged this withdrawal. Let the oxygen thin. Let the blaze starve. It's not surrender, it's strategy. Across the water, Gökberk looks like a man splitting himself in two. Meeting rooms hum, maps fill with pins, deals blossom at altitudes where Wi-Fi is a prayer. And yet the heartbeat you can't pencil into a schedule keeps tapping. He's pulled between a pulse that began under chandeliers and the calculus of an industry that finds the reckless. This is where many interpret his impossible as not a blade aimed at her, but a shield raised in front of her. He is said to have told a trusted friend that this kind of heat rolls off him. In a week, the storm finds another target. But for a woman who feels deeply and guards her quiet like a sacred room, the aftermath could be winter-long. That isn't indifference. That's someone counting costs in her currency. Meanwhile, the internet's amateur archivists run their spectral analysis on everything. His grid tilts darker, lone silhouettes, grainy skies, captions that read like sighs. Her updates thin further, polished but remote, as if the warmth is happening off-camera. Mutual friends post less of them in the same frames. A couple of social circles seem subtly rethreaded. It doesn't feel like absence. It feels like after. Something flared, brief, bright, and then classified by necessity. And then there are the timekeepers. Producers. Agents. Network architects. They're reportedly pleading for this chapter to be boxed and buried. If this story breathes in daylight, one powerful intermediary warned, the fallout won't end with paparazzi bulbs. Schedules buckle. Contracts demand edits. The curated silhouettes of two separate titans warp in the heat of 1,000 headlines. Gökberk's international trajectory is a precious export. You don't feed it to a bonfire just to watch the sparks. Cemre's cherished place as a face of refined craft isn't a coin you toss into a fountain and hope for fate to be kind. The countermeasures are textbook. Joint appearances evaporate with careful excuses. Private dinners vanish from calendars. Officially, there's air and distance. Unofficially, the scramble to keep them apart proves exactly what everyone denies: this isn't smoke without flame. So here we are at the edge of the year's last act, staring at a question that refuses to be shelved. The love he named impossible, was it only a mirage? Or did it breathe for one terrified, beautiful instant, and then get pressed flat by family gravity, by the ghosts of roles past, by the unromantic arithmetic of budgets and branding? Istanbul, city of unblinking witnesses, seems to agree on a single point: the play hasn't ended. The curtain didn't crash down. It drifted lower, velvet heavy, as if someone might still part it for an unscripted scene when no one expects it. Now I pass the floor to you. Is impossible a period or a dare? Between them, who carries the silence more painfully, Cemre Arda, whose calm is her compass, or Gökberk Yildirim, who moves as if motion itself is his second skin? Tell us below. We read everything. Members, you keep Turkish series stars independent and fearless. Hit join if you want to secure that future. Like, subscribe, and keep your gaze where the truth hides best, right there in the shadows.